Oh my god, that's right. We're back. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Monkey.
And welcome to part 3 of our great Disneyland Resort ranking podcast. Oh yeah. This is where things are really going to get interesting, Monkey, because I feel like we've blown through all of the filler stuff.
Or at least some of it. Yeah, we're on the way. If we're close, if not there. Wow, I turned that a longer sentence than it needed to be.
I'm really excited to get into this part because I feel like going forward, all of these attractions, at the very least, I really like. So, I'm not going to lie. There's definitely some hard cuts on this list. There's a couple that I don't. I'm still like, even looking at my list now, I'm still kind of like unsure of. So,
there's going to be, however, ours differ. In fact, like full disclosure, last night I was looking over my list again for this year, and I'm like looking at 33 through 36. I'm like, I don't know about that ranking, and so yeah,
I'm literally switching something up right now. I'm switching my 34 and my 29. So something literally just got switched out of the into the top 30. All right. So let's just I think I went first last time, so I'll let you go first. What's your number 40?
Okay. My 40 I gave to Silly Symphony Swings.
Okay.
So yeah, we were just close tier-wise, and we used that for the pick. We were really close
with that.
Yeah. So yeah, you got some good motion and views. It's a wave swinger. I think it rides better than the one at Knott's, honestly. And also, what you got the lightning effect, which I'm gonna assume maybe still works. But the thing that this one really has going for it is the music. That William Tell overture and the storm going. Yes, please.
Yeah, it absolutely rides better than any other wave swinger I think I've ever done. I would say it's probably pretty comparable to the one at Santa Cruz, which is like, honestly, I'm pretty sure it was put in like a little after they put in the one at Santa Cruz. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like literally directly inspired by that one.
Maybe parts of it are the same model. I don't know. Like,
I know it's better than the one at Discovery Kingdom. Anyways, actually, I don't think I've ever done the one at Knott's.
No, I'm pretty sure you did.
Really?
Yeah, you and Manning Reith did it, and I didn't.
Okay.
There might be a picture.
Shows how much I remember.
Yeah, it was a weird day.
I don't know. There's quite a few of those like random flat rides at Knott's kind of scattered around that I don't like. I don't know if I have ever done the like the Mexican hat spinning ride, for example.
Yeah, I've definitely done hat dance, but also, how much is the Fiesta Village freshening up going to affect Wave Swinger?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
To be seen.
All right. So, anyways, let's see. My number 40 is going to be Star Tours. The Adventures Continue. And honestly, I think I would have this ranked higher if it was just Star Tours, because for me, I think we've probably had this conversation before, but like, I respect the hell out of the original Star Tours from a theme park design standpoint. Just because I really feel like that's one of the forefathers of the kind of the classic "and something goes wrong" trope. Captain Rex, obviously, like, even though I really love the fact that with Star Tours, even though they could have just very easily, I don't know, put in someone like C-3PO or something, they instead went with an original character that has become one of the most beloved for park fans.
And they've even got that model in the Disney Plus series is now.
Right. So the Adventures Continue. Yeah, I've never been crazy about it. There's there's definitely some timeline stuff. Like, I know they've probably fixed a little bit of it. Like, I know that they usually either go with, like, you're in the sequel trilogy or you're in the prequel trilogy the whole time. At least that's as far as I know, that's what's going on right now with the randomization. But I distinctly remember there was one time where, like, we started off with Vader, and then we go to Jakku, and Finn's there, and he's like, Star Tours, what are you doing here? And I'm like, Finn, what are you doing here?
It's one of those time dilation things where it's only a minute for you, but it's...
Yeah,
But then again, that would be thematically inconsistent when Buzz Lightyear is across the street.
Right. C-3PO, I like C-3PO has always been one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So it's like he is a good fit for the captain spot. I just think Rex was a lot stronger of a character overall. And yeah, I don't know, just the randomization, I really think it takes away from the experience more than it adds, just because I feel like the original film was just such a well-constructed, like, something goes wrong theme park plot line with original ILM practical effects and everything, mind you. So yeah, still a solid ride. Like, I absolutely will not wait for it. If I walk by it in the evening and it happens to be a walk-on, I'll do it. But yeah, man, I really do miss the original Star Tours. I honestly think I miss the original Star Tours as much as you miss the original Soarin' Over California.
Well, at least Soarin' Over California comes back sometimes.
Right. And I wish the original Star Tours would come back sometimes. I think it would be popular if it did, honestly. Anyways. Okay, ZNK channels in the comments. He says, you're not a rewritability stan. Not that I blame you, though. Well, honestly, I just don't find Star Tours to be all that rewritable, just because, like, in theory, you would think that the randomization would make it very rewritable, but I just, I don't know. First, like,
with you and Disney Star Wars rise in rewritability.
Right. So, anyways, okay. Monkey, what's your number 39?
My 39, we're not going too far from where you were. The Disneyland monorail.
Okay. Yeah, we're pretty in sync.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's still it feels weird to call a monorail a simple transit system. Oh yeah, that thing that's not really widely used. That's a simple public transit. But yeah, it's still a nice one. For some reason, I really like that the inside is called a cabin. Keep it inside the train, inside the cabin. Yeah, we're on a fancy train. We're on a fancy transportation system with some nice views of the surrounding area. Yay! I don't deny
the view
that
of Harbor is my favorite spot along the monorail. It unironically is. You just cannot get that in any other Disney park.
Yeah. I don't deny that the route going into the park is more substantial than, at least layout-wise, than the one going out of the park. Like, going in, you get to pass by all the stuff, like the trams and the Esplanade and Autopia and Small World and the Matterhorn and the subs. And then with the other one, it's like, right turn, down Harbor, straight. Right turn, straight through DCA and Grand Californian. Another turn. Okay, we're off.
Yeah, to be fair, though, I do think the view of DCA and then the view of DCA is really cool. And then one of my favorite spots in the entire monorail route is the pass through Grand Californian. So
absolutely.
I mean, it's obviously not as good as the going in route, but it's still got its charm.
Maybe this is also just some holdover feelings from the days when the Harbor Boulevard route was the only one it could do. # Nemo construction.
I forgot that was a thing. Right. Oh, boy. Alrighty.
Yay, monorail.
Monorail. What's that name? Monorail. Once again. Monorail. All right. Number 39. We're pretty. ZNK says that seems like a good opportunity to bring something original for Disney after dark for Star Tours. Yeah, that would make sense for sure for a Star Wars night or something. Honestly,
bring it to the holiday
ZNK.
special.
Oh man. Okay, a holiday special version of Star Tours, that would absolutely get me into Star Wars nights. Absolutely.
Yeah, you do some of those like AI deep fake voice things for BR.
Oh my god. But honestly, the original Star Tours, like, I don't think that would be enough to get me to go to a Star Wars night, but it would definitely tip the scales a bit. It definitely would. Like, it would be tempting anyways. Okay, so my number 39, once again, Monkey, I think we're pretty locked up with this. I think this was like in your low 30s as well, or low 40s, I mean. Pixar Pal Around.
Right, that was like mid 40s for me.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, like, first of all, I think Mickey's Fun, we already had this discussion. For me, I think Mickey's Fun Wheel was the best theme, and I think the fact that Mickey's face is literally on the wheel still, they should have just kept it Mickey's Fun Wheel and then transitioned into Silly Symphony Swings. I don't understand why they didn't. The Pal Around, that theme, honestly, like, lowers this attraction for me. But I digress. Like, it is a really nice attraction. It's obviously like an icon of the park. I do think that I wish there were a few more of the stationary cabins, just because for me, that's definitely the preferred ride. Because like, for me, the only reason I see myself doing the swinging side is if we're literally doing some dumb video or something, honestly. Like, that, like, for me, the swinging side is literally like, go on it to film some dumb shit, because, and it is terrifying. Like, it's not like, oh my god, I am going to die terrifying, like it was the first time that I did it way back in the day. But it still is terrifying. It still is very disquieting to do. So, but regardless, I do think it's in a really good spot to get some great views. I think with Cars Land in the park, especially, the actual skyline of the park from the wheel looks very, very nice. So I can't really
flashing back to using the wheel to peek into Midway Mania construction. Like, is it just like, oh, see, the cars are testing.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the weird kind of like Mickey is literally still on the face of the wheel, but we're gonna theme the cars to Pixar characters, I honestly think this would have a chance. It probably wouldn't crack my top 30, but it would probably like be a little bit higher. But that does muddy the waters a little bit, unfortunately, for me. It's like I just don't think Pixar Pal Around. It's not a catchy title. It's not a cool theme. I don't know. It's like, I kind of appreciate the fact that they're going for like the iconic Pixar duos. Like, I think that's a cool thing to pay homage to. But I just realized
I never got on that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I am pretty sure that's what they're going for. The Pixar, like, iconic, like, you know, the buddy cop kind of thing that Pixar tends to go for. But I still think it's just like a weird, like, random choice for the Ferris wheel. I don't know. I honestly think you could have done just as good, like, retheming. I don't know, like
the Good Dinosaur, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know what you could retheme, but anyways, it's a good concept. I just think, and like I said, it just bothers me that Mickey is still on the wheel. That bothers the hell out of my OCD. I love it from
the rationale there was like, well, that side is facing Paradise Gardens.
I guess so. Yeah,
the side you enter from is in Pixar Pier's jurisdiction. So
sure. All right, number 38. What do you got?
38. I decided to put Sleeping Beauty Castle here.
Okay.
I'm guessing you have it higher.
I do have it higher. It's a tough one to rank, though. Honestly, for me, I kind of like the reason I have it in my 20s is because, like, I'm not just ranking it as a walkthrough. I'm ranking it kind of like as like its own thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is like the fact that you are physically walking through the icon of the park is a big
Absolutely.
thing for me. Anyways.
Yeah, it is a really cool opportunity to be able to do that.
Sure,
And,
sure.
The displays are neat. You got the music from the film in there. That's appreciated. Like aside from, just how it's a bit exclusionary for those who aren't ambulatory, admittedly. Otherwise, the only major issue I can think of that's not just like, say, an effect not being as well as it could, it's just that weird chunk they skip at the beginning of the story, like, oh, a daughter was born, they called her Aurora, fearful of Maleficent's curse, Mary. But that's just a silly nitpick. It's still
sure.
Still a cool, unique thing to take part in.
And of course, I assume that me seeing Maleficent Shadow is still probably like an all-time great memory, at least for
it is a good one
for you and I and our time in the park together.
Yeah, well, also just going into that castle, like that first staircase for you.
All right. Okay, let's see. So number 38 for me is going to be the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail.
Nice.
Which you have this a lot lower, right?
Yeah. Odd.
Which that's respectable.
It's not because that odd.
Right, like I don't do it that often either, but I am looking at it from the perspective of like, if I was a little kid and I remember being a little kid, not a little kid, but like 12 years old, 13 years old, that age range. And this place, like even like that's a little old for a playground, but still like socially acceptable. And it was
really
paradise.
Still short enough to do the zip line?
I don't think so.
Aw.
I actually think the first time I went to DCA, I was short enough, but the line was just like, that was like the main thing to do there,
right. How the hell
but
did
anyways,
I forget you have to get in line for it, that you have to wait?
Yeah, it was a pretty bad wait considering the, I'm pretty sure it was one of like 5 things in the park that you actually had to wait for. Anyways, I just think it's a really well-designed area. And what I really appreciate about it is the fact that going into it, you don't even really have to engage with like the physically demanding stuff to have a good time in it. Like, I really appreciate the fact that they do have like the walking trail element to it as well. I don't know. Like, for me, it's very transportive. Like, I honestly think it's a little bit more immersive than Tom Sawyer's Island, even though Tom Sawyer's Island, you're literally on an island. I think with this, it's just, like I feel like the Grand Californian kind of blends right into the area. That's probably honestly the place where the Grand Californian like sticks out the least, just because I feel like it fits so well into that attraction. It just kind of feels like part of it. And yeah, I don't know. I have fond memories of the Chippendale meet and greet they used to do there. I don't know if you remember that.
It rings a vague bell now that you mention it.
I remember the cast members would come out and like they would do it in like that little, like very small amphitheater.
Yeah,
and the cast members would like parade out Chippendale and they'd make like a big freaking deal out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. And yeah, the rope course itself is genuinely like one of the funnest obstacle course type things I have ever done, and I can still actively engage with it as an adult and have a good time. So I don't know, I just think this kind of ticks all the right boxes. I feel like as an adult it's a good place to kind of like, you can go through the walking trails and kind of like, chill out a little bit. Although granted, I think probably that trail that goes around Grizzly Peak is a little bit better of a chill out spot. But that area sometimes has AP stuff going on. So, that's a little bit dicey if that area is even going to be open or not. And I think like looking at it like objectively from the point of view of being a children's playground, I think it's a freaking awesome children's playground. So, yeah. All righty. Number 37.
In a row?
That number is literally my 69. It is. It really is.
I'm not doubting you.
Whenever I see it, it just pops. That's all I can think about. That's all I can think about.
Isn't that the year Snow White was released?
I think so. 1937. Anyways, what do you got?
37. I'm given to Goofy Sky School.
Okay. Wow, I have that a lot lower than you.
Yes, you do. Which
All right.
I understand. Yeah, it's for better and for worse. It's a wild mouse. It does its wild mouse job. The various instructional signs and the clouds are nice touches. And if nothing else, it has chickens. So, yeah. Wild mouse that gets its job done. And a bit more successfully than Primeval Whirl, which...
Oh, I do not argue with you there. I
want to like Primeval Whirl better, but the ride physically experience wasn't as it wasn't where it should have been.
Mm-hmm. No, for me, Primeval Whirl, I think I have that ranked towards like the dead last in my Disney World rankings.
Well,
all right.
Yeah, dinosaurs are dead, and now Primeval Whirl is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Long lived the Triceratops, I guess.
Okay, number 37 for me. It's going to be Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. So once again, I think we're pretty close on this one. Yeah, I really like Mater's. I'm looking forward to doing it again. Genuinely, I think it's like, again, I feel like as far as flat rides go, it's one of the best ones at the resort. I think it's got just that sheer fun factor in spades, and not only that, but I actually think the junkyard aesthetic actually fits in really well. Is like kind of like one of the first things you come across when you're walking into Radiator Springs. Geographically fits in line with the movie. Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy's, I genuinely think the songs that he does for this attraction are some of Larry the Cable Guy's best work with the Tow Mater character. And just an all-around really pleasant ride. I like looking at the app recently, although right now the park is like in the thick of spring break stuff, so I'm not even looking at the app right now. But like before the spring break stuff kicked in, I think it's been pretty consistently at like 10-15 minutes, which is better than like I remember even just, like a 2 or 3 years after Cars Land opened, this was still commanding like at least a half-hour wait. And for me, I won't wait more than 15 minutes for it just because of the nature of the ride and what it is. I just don't think it's worth a significant chunk of time. But as far as flat rides go, it is a damn good one. I think, like, is this the highest ranked flat ride that I have? No, Mad Tea Party is ranked higher than that, which makes sense. Yeah. Okay, but it's one of the best.
Yeah, and, I just wish it wasn't as rough lately, so...
And Mad Tea Party is a classic, and I think this is the second highest ranked below Mad Tea Party. So yeah. Okay. Number 36.
All right, 36, the one where I started redoing things last night. 36, I wound up giving it to Gadget's Go Coaster.
Oh wow, that's a lot higher than me.
Yeah, like I feel like the main
Chippendale's Gadget Coaster.
Yeah, holy shit, we're only like a couple days away from.
No, it's literally soft opened right now. It's already opened.
They did? Wow.
Yeah, they opened it today. They just said fuck it.
Well, okay, so I have no idea what they've done, if anything, for Chippendale's Gadget Coaster. So I'm basing it off of the older version, Gadget's Go Coaster.
Sure.
So, I mean, either version, it's still going to be really short, and it might have had some difficulty getting into that little car, like the way that lap bar is situated, but it's still...
I don't think it's not the same train as Jaguar, because Jaguar is Zaire.
No, it's a different train than Jaguar.
But Jaguar, that is like hands down the most cramped train I've ever been in. And outside of Coast Rider, which obviously I refuse to beat to go on, and that's
not
the worst roller
Coast
coaster I've
Rider
ever
isn't
been
a train, so.
What?
And Coast Rider isn't even a train, so.
Right. Coast Rider is seriously junk. Anyways.
But anyway, so yeah, but this one, it's still even in that.
ZK, I'm gonna.
Well,
don't look at the comments, Monkey.
Noted.
All right. Yeah, ZK,
Okay.
We don't want monkeys trying to avoid spoilers on Toontown stuff.
Yeah, the main thing I know is Pete's there, so.
Yes, I did not see Pete in the vlog that I watched. So I was like, where the hell's Pete? Maybe they're just not bringing him out on the soft open. I don't know. Anyways.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, but anyway, as for the coaster at hand, it's even in that short amount of time, it's still a fun one, and the landscaping and theming around it is really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel.
I like the frogs.
Yeah, those frogs scared me as a very young child. Like on that first visitor too.
All right. My number 36. This might be controversial. I'm not sure, honestly. And this was honestly one of the harder attractions to rank for me because I do think it has a lot of upside. But I am going to go with The Little Mermaid. What is it? Voyage of the Little Mermaid at this park?
Voyage of the Little Mermaid is the show at Hollywood.
Oh my God, that's fucking right. It's Ariel's Undersea Adventure here.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure is what it's called here.
It's freaking ridiculous.
It's called Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid.
That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Anyways, so the Little Mermaid ride, whatever the hell it's called. So I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, for me, the Disney World version of this kind of spoils me. I feel like I am going to. Yeah, the name of the Disney World version is dumb, but the queue is not joking around at all. That is genuinely like one of the better queues in all of Disney World, as far as I'm concerned. So I honestly feel like it's not quite on the same level as like Runaway Railway's queue in this coast compared to the other coast. But like it's kind of there where it's like I used to really appreciate the facade that we have just because I really like the fact that it looks like kind of like an old school aquarium. But man, there really isn't anything to that queue. And with like the queue in Florida is really part of the experience. But that being said,
part of the experience.
For me, one of the main reasons why I go on Ariel is just the descent never gets old for me. I genuinely think it's really well done. And I honestly think a lot of the rest of the ride is like a little not great. Like obviously the aerial effects need work. I think under the sea lighting is a little too bright still, even after they dimmed it. Obviously the finale is a little rushed to say the least. But I don't know. I still think that initial descent is like a magical Disney attraction moment for me. I really think it's worth the entire attraction. I wish the rest of the attraction was a little bit stronger, but I still think that, I still kind of get goosebumps every time I do that descent and the bubbles and, looking up and seeing the water and everything. It's just a genuinely really awesome moment.
Well, not wind, but the air.
Like it really does just give you like, even though they're using obviously a much more simple ride system than what they originally planning to do, I still think it pulls off that kind of feeling like you're going under the water effect very, very well. All right. So let's see. Z and K says WDW has a superior queue the likes of California will never see. Yeah, for Little Mermaid, indeed.
I think I understood that reference.
Okay. All right, number 35.
My 35, this is certainly much higher than you had it. And I think until last night I had it a spot or two higher for some reason. 35, this is where I wound up putting Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue! Exclamation point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's it could be stronger.
It's definitely got its highlights. Like, I really do think the superstar limo factor is what holds it back for me, just because it's got that creepiness to it.
It's like I was thinking before we came online, why do I give this one a bit more? Like, why do I hold this one up to a higher standard than Winnie the Pooh in terms of the mouths not moving? Maybe it's just because these ones are a bit more detailed than the characters on Winnie the Pooh. Like, Sully actually has fur, for God's sake. And then obviously Roz at the end being the exception. But yeah, speaking of highlights, you got Roz at the end. You got that door room, which is a great set piece. And if nothing else, it contains the line, "Sweet monster in the sky, save me!"
Also, Randall being one of the very early
the Pepper's Ghost Randall. That's always a highlight. That was always a classic, a great moment. And you got some nice.
I honestly think the attraction gets better as it goes on, if that makes sense.
Perhaps, yeah. The what's it called? Yeah, the queue was a bit very basic, low effort, but it's still got some nice touches in there, like the videos, like especially the test of the child emergency system. Gotta love that. And also the list of rules at the bus terminal, so at the ticket station, like the keep your tentacles forward, no breathing fire, if you have to pay for each body but not each head, all those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Here they redid the image of Mike and Sully out front and made it kind of hideous, so I guess I still have that to see in person.
Okay, so number 35 for me. This is way higher than you had it, and it's probably way higher than it needs to be, but I love it anyways. It's the Main Street Cinema. And let me tell you why I have it ranked as high as I do, because I genuinely think the Main Street Cinema is one of the key ingredients that makes our version of Main Street USA as good as it is. Like,
what are you talking about? Florida has the cinema that's an art store.
Oh my God. I've legitimately never even walked in there out of pure spite.
I don't think, they used to have the the Main Street Exposition Hall or whatever they called it, but I don't know if that's even around in any form now, aside from
I honestly just don't fuck with Florida's Main Street. I really don't. I could care less.
Walk into a little theater and watch cartoons on a big screen. That's how I actually watched Flowers and Trees for the first time.
Oh, that's nice. So yeah, for Disneyland, I genuinely think that the Main Street Cinema, literally being in like almost the exact center of Main Street and just being this tiny little attraction, and Monkey, like I am fully planning when I go to Rope Drop on my first day, I am fully planning, like, I am not in, because you know my strategy. My strategy is I'm not going to the Rope Drop stuff that everybody is going to go to anyways.
No, you're going to do Rise of the Resistance.
Right. Everyone at the start of those Rope Drop crowds is going to be headed for Rise of the Resistance anyways. That's not where I'm going. For me, my Rope Drop is going to be all about getting on as many mid-capacity rides as I can. So I am honestly just going to chill out in the Main Street Cinema until like 5 minutes before Rope Drop, Monkey. That's honestly my game plan. And I'm stoked
remember
about
doing that, like, I think around like just before dawn, the day Rise opened here, and there were like people in there.
So I love the fact that you can do that. I love the fact that it's literally the first Disneyland attraction every morning that opens. And the last to close. Like, that is awesome, I think. And it just absolutely breathes so much life for me into Main Street. Like, it makes all of Main Street just a little bit more alive. It like, the existence of it just makes Main Street feel like an actual, like, functioning town just because it does have something that's that prominent. Like, as far as prominent, it's a very tiny attraction, and obviously you can look up all the shorts that are on there on YouTube, no problem.
Yeah,
but
and that way you'd be able to hear the dialogue in them.
Right. But it's the vibe, man. It's the vibe. It's the smell of brass in there.
I think I forgot to shout out last time to give it credit. It has the spinny gate. Yes.
Yeah, the spinny gate. Indeed, it has Tilly. It's got the hidden Mickeys on the staircase. I love it. It's genuinely like probably the big small detail at Disneyland that I just love is still there. And you know what else I love is that I love that the fan base literally threw a fit the second that they tried to sell merch in that location.
Yeah. What year was that?
That was like, I think 2019 or 2018. It was before the pandemic, right, but pretty quickly leading up to it. Anyway, Z&K says Main Street Cinema at least serves a thematic purpose. That's more than the stupid Epcot Short Festival. Yeah, that Epcot Short Festival isn't great. That's not great.
I mean, we used to have the Tomorrowland Shorts Festival thing.
I was gonna say I would take the Shorts Festival over just having that empty theater. Anyways, okay, number 34, Monkey.
34 for me. This may be a hot take as we go into some,
Don't you fucking say it.
What?
You know what one I'm dreading you saying.
What?
Casey.
No.
That's the one that I'm dreading, Monkey. That's the one I'm dreading.
No.
All right.
That's not my 34. No. My 34 I'm giving to the Matterhorn bobsleds.
Ooh. Okay. Surprising. I definitely have it higher, but I can see why.
Oh, yeah. And I can see why for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that thing of like, it's deservedly iconic. You got the great theming of it. Like, God damn it. The footsteps when I'm kind of never clear whether the new iteration of the Yeti is also Harold, but yeah. But yeah, the footsteps of him following you, that's great touch.
Mm-hmm.
This thing, does it have to be so rough and wild and droppy? Like sudden droppy. Like, hopefully there's some way to, like make vehicles that could, have good capacity and mesh well with the track.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't even think the vehicles now have great capacity because the line's still like consistently an hour long.
And I don't think the roughness is as bad for me as it is for others, or at least the seating. Maybe some spots are better than others for me. It's maybe not as huge a deal breaker for me, but it's still, it's a consign.
Yeah, for me, this was one of the hardest ones to rank. So, like, obviously, I'm ranking it higher based on, like, the historical value and the iconic value that it has. But, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying as far as, like, the roughness goes. It's a tough ride. It really is. All right. Okay, my number 34 this is the one I actually just switched out of my top 30. It's Smuggler's Run. All right, now remind me, you already got to this, right?
No.
Oh, you haven't. Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's a weird one to rank.
It is. Yeah, like
remind me, did you include this on your Disney World rankings?
Yes.
You've ranked this ride before.
Well played. Yeah, for me, I really appreciate the queue. I really do. I think the queue is genuinely like a little bit better than the actual ride itself.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the ride was a little less repetitive. That's my main thing. It should not be as repetitive as it is. I honestly think
That's in the same list that has the Adventures Continue in the same tier.
No, I was just gonna say, I think this kind of format for ride would fit better with the randomization. Yeah. I really do. I think this format would fit better with randomization. Yeah, and I think a format for Star Tours, where it is a little bit more storytelling centered, fits better with having the continuous story. I don't know, but there are a lot of really good things about this. Obviously, I mean, again, the queue is fantastic. You've got that amazing exterior. Unless you go backstage, which is a very unfortunate part of the queue if you do have to go back there, because it literally ruins the illusion for a minute.
Yeah, but I don't know if they do that all the time for Railway nowadays, but
yeah, I know Railway. I'm not stoked about doing that either, but it seems like with Railway, you're only backstage for 5 minutes. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, though it is a little immersion break-in. But I genuinely think outside of the backstage stuff, there's not a boring spot in that whole queue. Everywhere from getting the views of the Falcon all the way up to to the radio chatter, to the mechanisms and the hidden popcorn and stuff like that, and the sabacc cards. I mean, there's so many details. That one element that
the inside of the Falcon.
Mm-hmm. That one element that you really like, where it's as you're approaching it, you're like, oh yeah, we get to go up there.
What? Oh, the windows?
Yeah, the windows. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Hondo himself is awesome. Genuinely, the best part of the attraction is that fucking ramp into the loading area. Genuinely. Yeah, I just wish the ride itself were stronger, because I think a lot of the queue stuff is really, really top notch. Mm-hmm. All right, number 33.
Right, 33. So, like I said, this is when I was re-ranking last night. Hey, Tiki, ask me if I'll be able to do this one.
Will you be able to do this one?
I think I can.
Oh my god.
If it helps, I think I had this a little lower before last night.
Well, obviously, this is in my top 10. I get it.
You were one shy. One shy. Yeah, I was re-ranking them and going through the POVs, and I thought I had the order figured out. Then I put on a POV of this, and it's like, well, that threw a wrench in the process. Yeah, I think the reason...
Obviously, for me, I have a very personal nostalgic connection to this attraction, which is why it is so high for me. So I understand.
Yeah, so I wound up putting this above those last three ultimately, because the rationalization I used was, well, it generally succeeds at what it's trying to be. Not as much missed potential as Monsters Inc., and it's tamer than Matterhorn. It's a nice train around, and it has the music. You get to listen to the nice Casey Jr. Dumbo music as you go by. And
that's the end of the lion.
What? I know I've said this before. I swear that Ringmaster sounds like Grover.
It does kind of.
I've probably done this joke years ago on the podcast, but whatever. Long enough that fine. Today, Casey's going to take us around. But anyway. So yeah, yay, Casey Jr. It's a nice train ride around with the music. It's lovely with the music match if you drive by while the teacups are going. That goes with the music well. And yeah, you get the lift hill. It's a nice trip around Storybook Land.
Fair enough. Okay, 33 for me is going to be Toy Story Mania. And I really do love my arc with this attraction, because I genuinely kind of hated it when it first came out. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is literally like a video game on wheels. I
All
was
they had to
super
do
cynical
was make
about
you walk through grass at the end.
it. Right. And I still think that the Florida version is far superior. Like, I genuinely, I have the Florida version in my top 20 Disney World attractions, I think.
It's not unreasonable.
The queue is just freaking amazing for that attraction, let alone the exit walkway. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. The exit walkway is genuinely one of my favorite spots in all of the Florida resort. But, yeah, California Adventure, it's still solid. What I like about California Adventure, and I appreciate, is that I appreciate the fact that, like, obviously they didn't have a lot of space to work with. So I really like the fact that when you're going into the attraction, it basically, like, is reminiscent of, like, a classic, like, carnival dark ride entrance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the entrance is just, like, bam, like, right there, right at the loading station. Very prominently. So I like that. Obviously, I don't like the queue. This is genuinely one of the worst queues in the entire resort. They really should do something to, I don't know what they could do, but it's just bad. It's a bad
They put in umbrellas after I threw up.
Oh, God.
True story.
DCA does have a very great punchline. Indeed. I do think that the Florida exit walkway is superior, but I mean, it's hard to argue that exit walkway is great at DCA as well. Genuinely one of the things that makes the DCA version actually stand out. But the ride itself is still just like, it's got that fun factor in spades. Like I genuinely think the more that I have done Midway Mania, I appreciate it more, both in the fact that, like, yes, even though it is pretty much all screen based, I do really like that there's the spinning involved, the air blast, there is physicality to it.
Yeah. Like, when was the last time the water worked?
I'm pretty sure the water was working for me the last time I did in Florida. I don't know.
Okay.
But, and then the shooting mechanics, I mean, like, it's like next level. There's not any shooting dark ride for my money that comes close to actually being, like, the enjoyable video game experience that this is. I don't know what they did. I definitely think part of it is the pull toy mechanic. It just feels really satisfying.
Also, as a well set up pull toy mechanic, looking at you, Berry Tails.
yeah.
No, don't get me wrong, Berry Tails. I love you, but when I pull your string,
oh God,
I try to hold you.
Oh my. Okay.
But you're just so hard.
Jesus Christ.
Who wants pie?
The pool toy mechanics in Midway Mania are perfect. Like, I don't know. I genuinely, it's like, for my money, I think that, like, I haven't done Mario Kart yet, but I genuinely think that they should have had something like that to control the shells instead of the, like, oh, you're literally looking around to fire the shells. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I haven't done it in, like, since pre-pandemic, but maybe next, when I get back to DCA soonish, I'll do it, and then I'll be able to more directly compare its mechanisms with web slingers. See how I feel.
I'm sure it's way better than web slingers.
At least web
Rob,
slingers,
I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Web slingers I am straight up considering just skipping web slingers.
No.
Honestly, yes. Do you really think I'd be missing that much?
I mean, just like to do it at least once. But
I'm just gonna have one day in DCA, and I'll do it once.
I understand the one day in DCA factor, so it's like, well, if you find the time and the,
I mean, like,
stuff's manageable.
I'll put it this way: as far as, like, all the e-tickets go, like, I'm definitely, like, if given the choice to go on Radiator Springs Racers for like the 12th time or however many times I've already done that ride,
Yeah,
or
okay, I
Web
see what you're
Slingers
getting
for the
there.
first time, I take Radiator Springs Racers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at least the Lightning Lane doesn't seem to be individual anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyways, number 32.
32 for me. We're definitely breaching into some of the iconic stuff here. 32, I decided to, it's like there's a special click in the parks, and it's finally arriving in. We're finally breaching the click. I am building this out too long. 32, I put to Peter Pan's Flight.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not, honestly, it's in my like high 20s, so it's not too different from me.
yeah, it's like, the last stretch of where they pack the story, and it's a little odd, and the drops can feel a bit much, but you still got that Neverland room. The soundtrack, I think it's a better overall soundtrack than Florida's, and it's one of those rides where it's like, well, you don't do me as much, so it feels a bit more special when you do go on me. So there. I shouldn't have worded that in the first person. Now you know why it's called Peter Pan's Flight.
Oh my god.
Okay, now we're...
And as far as the soundtrack goes, like, what are you talking about? You don't love Captain Hook just screaming, "Fire, Mr. Smee!" throughout like half the
that's
ride.
delightful, but it's a really outdated voice.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's like for me, like the thing that sticks out the most about Florida's version.
But yeah, it's nice when you do it. The rare times that happens.
Yeah, honestly for me, the wait time honestly kind of like it definitely like does not help the ranking for me. I'll put it that way.
And fuck it, I'll just throw this rhetorical question out there. So, when are they gonna take out the natives? You might want to do that.
Yeah, that's weird. It genuinely is weird.
I feel like the way they're staged, I feel like that would be an easier change to do here than in Florida.
Agreed. And honestly, in Florida, I don't really think it's that hard either, from what I remember.
You just need to think of a different tableau, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
there is.
like, honestly, even as a
screw
kid,
it. God damn. You know what? In Florida, replace them with the octopus from Return to Neverland.
I would be 100% okay with that. Even as a kid, those, like, I thought, like, yeah, that's pretty racist. Like, even as a little kid, man.
You're
all right.
Like, you updated Jungle Cruise. You're updating that mountain in Critter Country. Okay, are we gonna do this kind of smaller change now?
Yeah, let's just kind of like ignore the tiki room.
Yeah,
I understand that there's some problematic stuff in there. I understand. I get it. Let's ignore it though. Let's just ignore it. let's just call it a part of tiki culture and call it a day, right? Like, we don't have to touch that.
Anyways, the stupid world of ours.
All right.
Okay, something more lighthearted. What's your 32, buddy?
This is not gonna make people happy, but it's Soarin' Over California.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, we decided that we are just going to include the California version and not Over the World. Over the World is not part of this equation. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I happen to be one of those weirdos that actually likes Over the World more. I don't know. Call me crazy. I like a grander set piece. Soarin' Over California for me has always been like little overrated for me personally. It's kind of like maybe the original Rise of the Resistance, honestly.
So in the sequel from Escape from Tomorrow, they'll have the topless woman on Rise
Oh
of the
God.
Resistance.
I mean, honestly, like I could totally see that.
Yeah.
She's just like, where would she be? I could picture her being like in the AT-AT.
Maybe I'm thinking the windows behind, like in front of Kylo and Hux.
Oh my God. Or what about just floating out into space during the cannon scene?
Yeah, or I mean you have the simulator port at the end, which would make it Soren-like, but
That's true. That's true. Come back to Batu with me, Jim.
I'm waiting for you, Jim.
All right. Anyways. So obviously Soren does have a lot of iconic stuff in it. The music can't be beat. The music is probably the best music in any Disney park attraction, objectively, if I were to break it down. It is pretty much perfect. Patrick Warburton, like that whole safety spiel, obviously one of the all-time great theme park safety spiels. Nice work, pal. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff there. Yeah, I guess for me, my main issue, and it's so weird for me, Monkey. It's so weird for me that, like, I think I've done Flight of Passage at this point.
I had a feeling this is where it was going to go.
Yeah, like, I think I've done Flight of Passage at this point maybe like 5 or 6 times. And every time I've gotten lucky and I've just been like, this is so much better than Soren. Oh my God, this is like next level Soren. This is what Soren should have been like. And you have been kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see the walls. And for me, it's like, first of all, like the thing with Flight of Passage, like I do not care that you can see all the other people in Flight of Passage, just because for me the mechanism is so cool that it's kind of part of the experience.
Fair. And but Passage is also in 3D. That's got to help.
That definitely does help for sure.
As I would know from certain attractions at Universal involving yellow things.
I just rewatched Charlie's video on that the other day. Anyways, so yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about Soren. I just wish that it wasn't so easy to see the walls. Although I feel like at Epcot, like it's just not as hugely in demand at Epcot as it is in California. Like part of that is that you have to go, you know, like deep into a pavilion to get to it. So I just think geographically speaking, like it's literally one of the first things that you hit when you're in DCA. Geographically speaking, I just think, you know, it's just easier to get to at DCA.
Forgive me, I'm still a little amazed that I could use the 2 nickels meme for Universal simulators about yellow characters. Where seeing the screen can be an
issue.
Yeah.
It is weird that it has happened twice. All right. Well, I think I've dug enough of a hole for myself. I don't know. Yeah, at least I didn't put Rise below the top 30, right? Rise isn't going to be in my top 20. I'll tell you that much.
Because all right, it's number 31.
10. No, it's not going to be in my top 10.
Okay, my 31. Let's keep it iconic, beloved. Disneyland Railroad.
Oh. Ooh, for me, that honestly hurts a little bit more than Casey. Because it's like with Casey, it's like, I get it that I obviously have a lot of bias when it comes to Casey. The Disneyland Railroad's fucking iconic, man.
Well, yeah, it is. It's a good
all right,
one.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just, I guess, where I put in regards to other stuff on property. Oh.
Yeah, for sure. But
yeah, it's a nice classic form of transportation. You got the scenes along the way with like the peek into Splash Mountain and the dioramas en route to Main Street. It's a way to get places. Like I said, it's transportation. I just wish it sometimes didn't take as long for a train to arrive. Looking at you, New Orleans Station. Maybe if they were able to have like a little clock saying like count like or a map like train is this close to arriving. Here's where it is on the route.
They usually have like 2 trains on the track at any given point, right?
I would think it varies, but yeah.
Because I remember times when I was a kid and there'd only be 1, and that would be brutal.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was only 1 train going when I went for Railway's opening.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. I could be mistaken, but that's...
I mean, it's the same basic principle as a roller coaster. It's like if they're running 2 trains, it's obviously going to be a lot easier to get on.
Remind me, have you ever sat in that, not Lily Bell, but that other caboose thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe you were the one that actually showed that to me.
Oh, all right. Yeah, maybe someday you and or I will get on the Lily Bell.
I don't even know how you would go about that nowadays.
I feel like someone my mother knows gave us a voucher for some time. I don't know if it's still good, but
you know what I actually just looked up?
It's one of those days things.
You know what I looked up that I think is fucking disgusting right now?
What?
Do you remember the Walk and Waltz Footsteps tour?
Yeah.
So they're doing they're basically doing that tour, except it's just Main Street. And obviously the highlight is going to be going up to the firehouse. Obviously the apartment is going to be the highlight. Guess how much they're fucking charging for that?
I'm guessing it's somewhere in the thousands.
No, it's it's 160.
Oh.
I think that's outrageous because it's like it's a 2-hour tour of just Main Street.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I get you going into the apartment, but otherwise it's still.
You know what killed the apartment for me? There was a very specific moment that killed the apartment for me.
Aww.
It's when I realized that they switched out the lantern during the holidays. So like during Halloween, they'll have a jack-o'-lantern in the window. During Christmas, they'll have a little tree in the window. And when they started doing that, for me, the magic of the firehouse was just dead. Honestly.
Hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
Shit. Did you hear my point?
Walt's apartment lantern god was wagging his finger or something.
Did you hear my point about how they switch out the lantern?
Yeah.
You did hear that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Generally.
Okay, just making sure. Okay. All right, anyways, my number 31, it's going to be... Okay, I'm honestly not sure. It's between 2 Fantasyland dark rides. Do you think I should put Snow White in this spot just because I haven't technically done Enchanted Wish yet?
May I ask what it's up against?
Pinocchio.
Maybe Follow Your Heart.
It's tricky. Yeah. Tricky. Yeah, you know what? Just for the sake of technicality and that I haven't technically done Enchanted Wish yet, I am going to give it to Snow White's Enchanted Wish.
Okay.
I mean, like Pinocchio for me is probably like the lowest tier Fantasyland dark ride, even though I still do love it. I know that you have that big attachment.
What, you mean my hyperfixation from the last couple months of 2022?
No. I mean, just like your appreciation for the final scene at night.
Oh yeah, that.
But Snow White's Enchanted Wish, like, this is definitely one of the things I am looking forward to when I go back to Disneyland. But just judging on Snow White's Scary Adventures, I love Snow White's Scary Adventures. I think it's a little bit of a tier higher than Pinocchio's Daring Journey, honestly. But I just can't rank it higher than Pinocchio's Daring Journey just because, like, for me, I do have that nostalgic, the nostalgic connection to Pinocchio, and I just do not know what Snow White's Enchanted Wish is like just yet. So
Have you seen any POVs of it?
I looked up one POV when the ride first opened, but I kind of forget exactly how it goes, so I'm kind of avoiding POVs
so
now.
Enchanted Wish may be for you what Skull Island Reign of Kong was for me, which that would be a good sign.
Really? I mean, that's like, I think you and I are pretty equal in our love of Reign of Kong, so.
Well, what I'm just saying in the sense of you only saw the POV once when it opened, and then not until getting on it in person.
Right.
King Kong's Enchanted Wish.
And I think on that note, we'll pretty much end it. What's your ranking, just to go ahead and rank the 40 through 31 again?
All right, 40 through 31 again. 40, Silly Symphony Swings. 39, Disneyland Monorail. 38, Sleeping Beauty Castle Walkthrough. 37, Goofy Sky School. 36, Gadgets Go Coaster. 35, Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue! 34, Matterhorn Bobsleds. 33, Casey Jr. Circus Train. So play that on a sad recorder for Tiki.
That's gonna be like the next like hyper dramatic like song that they use in an MCU trailer.
Yeah. So 32, Peter Pan's Flight, and 31, Disneyland Railroad.
All right. My ranking: 40, Star Tours The Adventures Continue. 39, the Pixar Pal Around. 38, Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. 37, Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. 36, The Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure. 35, The Main Street Cinema. 34, Millennium Smalkin. Yeah.
Millennium Smalkin. Yes, please.
Yes. Millennium Smalkin.
33. Sounds like a porno title. I love it.
33, Toy Story Midway Mania. 32, Soarin' Over California. 31, Snow White's Enchanted Wish. All right. I feel like I didn't really explain those last two all that well, but whatever. Yeah. All right. Thanks to Z&K for joining us. We'll be back again next Saturday, right, Monkey? That works for you, right?
Quite possibly, yes.
Okay. So, yeah. It's been fun. We're getting into the bottom half of this list, so should be exciting. Yeah. Should be exciting. All right.
We're really going to get into the iconic stuff, probably.
Indeed. Well, like I said, Rise of the Resistance is for sure going to be on my next bracket and not in the top 20. So, yeah. All right. See y'all later.
How we differ, how we do similar. Later.